In 2013, I was an underwater welder in the Gulf of Mexico, a commercial diver. And living that lifestyle was very rough and very triggering and a lot of adrenaline. And I acted on my thoughts of suicide in 2013. I went into a coma for 2 weeks. It was very, very hard. I had to stop being a commercial diver, and that was my purpose in life. I loved being a commercial diver. I loved my job. And I moved back to Michigan, and that was very hard on me. I worked with all the right people and all the right doctors and reached out to all the best. And it was a lot. For a long time, I listened to a lot of the people that told me what they thought I should be doing. You know, I never really got an explanation of what I was dealing with. And it wasn't until I went back to Delta College that I was able to really self-advocate for myself and start researching these disabilities to figure out what they were and how they worked in the brain and how to override them and to pivot when I need to pivot. The self-advocacy of standing up and saying, I don't want to do this, I want to do this, and then not just listening to everybody, you know. A lot of people they'll say you can't accomplish that because they don't believe that they themselves could accomplish that if they had the same obstacles in life. Those were things that I've been told several times by a lot of people. You can't do that, you have a disability. And when I did my first semester, when I did my first triathlon, when I went and ran my first mile on that treadmill, that's when I saw that hope that I can do this. And then after I started to achieve more things and more things and more things, I started to get more of a confidence about myself. And once I started researching more about my mental health obstacles and what I was dealing with, I started to have more of a growth mindset. And it just started, I stopped listening to everybody and started listening to myself and started to believe that I can really accomplish anything I want. So I went from, for example, you know, like one semester to I'm on my 6th semester. I'll be graduating this winter from Delta College with a psychology degree, you know. I went from running one triathlon, a sprint triathlon, to doing a 400-mile triathlon from hell to paradise. And at that one time in my life, that one semester at school was impossible, that people told me, or that running a quarter mile or a 1 mile was impossible. And once you switch that mindset to that growth mindset and start believing that anything's possible,